Welcome, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It's a pleasure to see you. I am Rabbi Barry Silver, and we're live streaming, and also we're here in person here at the beautiful Mariposa, and we're here also with congregation L'Dor Va-Dor. We do something a little different. We try to use reason and common sense when it comes to religion, which is somewhat of a novel idea, but we have a good time, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So you might hear the traditional prayers, and perhaps they'll be interpreted in a non-traditional way, a modern way. But everyone here has their own belief system, their own backgrounds, and we're all here together, people of different places and faces, and you are welcome to join with us and interpret things any way you would like. We're going to start out with a song, which is a little risky business because you might have noticed there's nobody over here at this microphone. That's because Carol is not here this evening.
Yes.
So we're going to start out with a song that I know. I'm going to do the singing and the speaking, so might get a little weak by the end. And then we also have some amazing entertainment by our cameraman, Jimmy Singh. In Hebrew, if you go to Israel and you say to somebody, "Hey, ma shlomcha? How's it going?" Or "Ma chadash?" They might answer you, "Yofi." You ever hear that? Yofi, Yofi, that means everything's good, it's fine. Yofi comes from a word, yafeh. Yafeh means pretty, or nice, or fine. So this song is called Ma Yafeh Hayom. How beautiful is this day.
Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Now we're going to call up Naomi Goldstein. She will lead us in the candle lighting. She's got a long way to go. That means I get to filibuster a little bit. While she's coming up, I will mention that in Judaism we have two candles. This reflects the light of love, the light of reason. Naomi Goldstein. Is that what I said or no? What did I say? I thought I said Naomi, but okay. Come on up and take the microphone. It's all yours.
I was asked to read this. It's what I'm doing.
Well, you can say whatever you want. You don't have to read that. We're not scripted here. You share whatever you want about the candles if you'd like.
I have it. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our old days be among those who kindle light. So according to our tradition, let us now kindle these Shabbat lights.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Alosi lechem mitzvosah.
There you go. It's Ivanu. Anything you want to add?
No, it's wonderful to see see everybody here.
It's good to see you too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Naomi demonstrated two things for us tonight. It was
Beautiful voice.
very scripted. It took her 5 times to get the candle to light. That reminds us that many times in a world of darkness, we keep trying to bring light to the world, and we don't make it on the first time. Some people get discouraged and they give up. Naomi didn't give up. She kept at it, and now we have these beautiful lights. Also, she knows the blessing very well, but she pretended she missed the words so that the congregation could help out. We all know that sometimes it's good to get support from the whole community. If we want to shed light on the world, we can't do it ourselves. We need everybody participating. Now, I thank you for doing that just as we planned it. It's amazing. Now we have, for your listening pleasure, Jimmy C., who's going to start out with an opening song.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow, crazy with the cobwebs and the sun, till there's none. When I'm stuck in the day, it's gray and cloudy, I can stick on my chin and grin and say, oh, everybody, the sun come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang out till tomorrow, come what may. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day away. I just stick out my chin and grin and say, oh, the sun come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang out till tomorrow, come what may. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day away. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day away. Tomorrow.
Excellent. We really appreciate having Jimmy here. And don't go away. He's going to do another song during the service. It is appropriate to sing tomorrow, the sun will come out. That's why Jews celebrate the day starting with the evening, because that demonstrates to us the sun will always come out. It's been happening for about 5 billion years, and we figure it's got another 5 billion to go. And we give thanks to the sun coming out tomorrow. So when things are gloomy, we can always remember that song. Now it's my pleasure to call up to lead us in the Kiddush, Roberta Cooper. And please feel free to share any thoughts that you would like with us tonight.
No, I will.
There you go.
The Kiddush is one of the central rituals of Shabbat. For many people, the words and melody of the Kiddush evoke some of their most meaningful Jewish memories. Reciting the Kiddush is a fulfillment of the biblical commandment to remember the day of Shabbat and keep it holy. I was looking at that and I was thinking about what does it mean to be holy? And I think we could spend the entire service going around and getting different ideas of what it is to be holy in people's minds. Some people ask me, why do you go to Shabbat services? I said, because it gives me a time to pause from the week. I don't have to worry who I'm going to eat dinner with, where we're going to eat dinner. I don't read. I do a lot of reading during the week. I take a vacation from reading. I don't have to watch TV with all the political discussions. I can relax and be holy. And to me, part of being holy is saying thank you for all the things that were good during the week. And also, sometimes I have to ask a favor of the power beyond me. I believe that there is a bit of the Holy Spirit in all of us and all living things. And I am able to connect up with the universal life force. And sometimes I have to ask for strength. Like I recently had a bout with COVID that was not fun. And God can't cure you, but God can give you strength. And with the strength comes the cure. Therefore, raise the cup and recite the blessing over the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei puri hador.
The speech. Thank you. It's always great to have Roberta come up, and if you'd like to share any thoughts with us, you're always welcome to come up as well. I always like listening to Roberta's comments, and what she said is very consistent with Jewish thought. Each one of us has the divine spark. We all have a neshama, a ruach. We all have a sanctity within us. Problem is, sometimes we don't notice. Sometimes it gets buried. And the purpose of Shabbat is to bring this out through song, through connecting with our traditions, and through trying to take us to a slightly higher level, as you did with those beautiful words, Roberta. We're going to continue singing Yinei Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. That means how wonderful it is for all of us to be here together, celebrating as brethren. I might do it in a few different languages. I could do it in French and Spanish easy enough. I didn't bring my Arabic, so we're going to have to miss out on that one. I apologize. Yinei Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Yinei Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Yinei Matov U'Manayim. La 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 la. Yinei Matov U'Manayim. La 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 la. Qué bueno es unirse en paz, celebrando como hermanos. Qué magnifique et merveilleux, célébrer ensemble comme frères. Merci bien pour écouter. Thank you for listening, everybody. We're now going to have responsive reading. We have come together to strengthen our bonds with our people Israel. Like Jews of generations past, we celebrate the grandeur of creation.
Like Jews of every age, prosper justice. Our celebration is the sharing of memory and hope.
We are Jews, but each of us is unique. We stand apart and alone with differing feelings and insights.
And yet we are not entitled to separate. For we are children of one people and one heritage. Our celebration unites many separate selves into a single force.
When it says we are Jews, we open this facility up to everybody. Jewish, non-Jewish, atheist, agnostic. The word Jew means to give thanks. And the Jewish people are here to try to improve the world for others. So if you feel like you want to give thanks, you want to try to make this world a better place, you're Jewish, when it says anything about the Jewish people, please feel included in that concept All of us are working together for the same thing. We continue with the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu gives praise and wonder for creation. If you'd like, you can stand for this part of the service. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Ameborah, Baruch Adonai Ameborah, Leolam Amen. Next prayer gives thanks for the world of physics and science, the cosmos, the universe, that works like clockwork every day so that life can continue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ba'aviv haravim, borei yom v'layla, borei or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, ma'avir yom u'mevir layla, u'mavdil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai so'od shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'aviv haravim. We continue to stand for the Shema, the call for unity. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. I'm sorry, when they up here, you get stuck with the traditional melodies, but I guess that's okay for some. I don't know the fancy tunes, but I do like the traditional Shema. I think it's really beautiful. We're going to continue reading the Yahavka. I have summarized all the blessings for you. The Yahavka means that you shall love. It means that we should have a view towards others, towards the world, not just of passivity, but of love. Love for all creation. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, וכל לבבך וכל נפשך וכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם. ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך. ושכבך וקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. And it says here that we should be holy because the spirit that permeates this universe that Roberta was talking about is holy, and we share a part of it. And that's the holiness that we seek, to understand our connection with this amazing universe and not feel detached from it. We now continue with responsive reading. We offer thanks for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness. And we have a song that I normally don't sing. But if you'd like, you can join in with me. It's called the Shamru. It says that we keep the Sabbath because God created the world in 6 days. On the seventh one, he rested. Some of us think it took a little longer than that. And if there is a divine being responsible, he probably doesn't get tired and need to rest. But the metaphor is very good. It's very good for us to work hard and then to relax. But the relaxation, the quiet time is just to recharge our batteries so we can go back full of vigor and determination to try to make a difference in the world. So we sing V'shamru. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat L'Dor Va-Dor. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat L'Dor Va-Dor. And there's a covenant established with us. Beni uben b'nei Yisrael, b'nei Yisrael.
אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
It's a sign. The seventh day is a sign that we have a covenant, a relationship with His heavenly power.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
And He rested on the seventh day.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
And now we're going to continue reading the Avot Imahot. This used to be just the Avot, giving thanks to our fathers, but we give thanks to our forefathers and our foremothers as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sava, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGimor והנורא אל עליון, אומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, מביא גאולה לבניהם למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. Please be seated. We have another song coming up now, an oldie but a goodie. It's called Say Shalom Bin Rav. If you would, we'll say Na Aseh Shalom instead of Ya Aseh. Means we will be creators of peace, and if we take the responsibility for it, maybe one day we will create a world of peace.
עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל,
We'll make peace.
נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל.
Now we're going to spend a few moments in silent meditation to find out how we can make peace. There might be someone in our life that we've been alienated from, that we've distanced ourselves from, that we used to be close to. Let us see if we can make peace with that person. Let us imagine in our mind what we would do or what we would say. Maybe an email we would send or a phone call we would make. Life is too short to have these disputes between us, especially between loved ones. Let's spend a few moments of silent prayer to see how it is that we can be a source of peace for others. David, Laura Gallagher, Cantor Carol Garrett, Brenda Jacobson, Carol Kahn, Dr. Sue Nair, Bernard Rosen, Fred Spielov, Naomi Bolden, and Becky Wolf. Anybody else? Any other names you'd like to add to our list? Yes? Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Looks like we have a healthy crowd. We're going to say that we hope that the power that was able to get our ancestors through difficulties, that power will be alive and well in all those who are ailing, so that the result will be a refuah shlema, complete restoration of his home. Now we have the Misha Benef. If you'd like, feel free to join with me.
Misha Benef, Avotenu, Mekor HaBracha, Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu, Mekor HaBracha, Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with Torah. In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek that the world turn to the foundation of its life.
My friends, we know the reason why science has been so successful. If something doesn't work, they test it, they experiment, they make changes, and they keep modifying it. It gets better and better and better. We can be like that too. We can keep getting better and better too. And what this prayer is telling us is that the Torah was written thousands of years ago. If we interpret the same way, then we're going to be the same as we were a few thousand years ago. If we can interpret the Torah, the teachings, the values, the lessons, according to modern understanding, there's no stopping us. That's the foundation of Reconstructionist Judaism, reconstructing a civilization. That's the foundation of Reform Judaism, constantly changing. That's the foundation of humanistic and Jewish renewal, and it's the foundation of L'Dor Va-Dor. And the day that we are able to grow better and be better today than we were yesterday, then life is exciting. So let us listen to the Torah with fresh eyes, with a new attitude. We've heard the passage before, but we've never heard it from a vantage point of what we know today. So before we read the Torah, of course, we have a blessing to show the sanctity of the Torah. Like and join with me.
Baruch hu et Adonai habarach, Baruch Adonai barach haolam ba'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan banu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
I'm a holy roller. Normally it takes me a little while to find the passage. Hebrews got no page numbers, no capital letters, no punctuation to speak of. But this passage I can find, because it's the beginning of a new book of the Bible. In Hebrew, it's called Devarim. In English, it's called Deuteronomy. The fifth book of the Bible. Originally there were 4, and then Ezra found one hidden in the temple, the 5th book of the Bible, Deuteronomy. These are the words that legend tells us Moses spoke to all Israel, L'Dor Va-Dor, on the other side of the Jordan, the wilderness called the Arava, Mul Suf ben Paran or ben Tafel, between a place called Paran and another place called Tefel, the Laban, the Hatzerot, the Dizahab. It was in the vicinity of these other places that were called Laban, Hatzerot, and Dizahab. Echad Asar Yom Mechurev Derech Seir. It's about 11-day journey from Sinai to where they were at Kadesh Barnea, up until Kadesh Barnea. Getting a little geography lesson here. And so it was in the 40th year of the 11th month, the that Moses spoke to Israel. So he's speaking now after wandering for 40 years to a new generation. And he imparted to them all the things that God had instructed him. After he had defeated Sihon, the king of the Amorites, and also he defeated Og, the king of Bashan, who dwells in Ashtaroth, in a place called Edrai. And on the other side of the Jordan, Moses was excited to share these words of the Torah. And then what's going to happen is, I'm not going to read the whole Sedra, Moses gives a review of what happened in the last 40 years, because these folks are a new generation. They missed all of that, and they didn't set their VCR to tape it, so he had to tell them all what happened. And now we have the blessing after the reading of the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chai olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. We give thanks for the giver of the Torah. And the giver of the Torah were some incredibly inspired, loving, spiritual people filled with the Holy Spirit that they wanted to set down in words. Well, my friends, it's always a pleasure to be here with you in Mariposa and to share some of the words from Deuteronomy. I can only tell you that my father inspired me to share with you what I do this week. He's an incredibly gifted orator, author of books, and someone who truly practiced what he preached. This incredible person on the pulpit. And he was no different at home. He's the same person, giving, loving. Never saw him get angry. Always kind. And from that, I learned people are capable of. I learned what is possible to achieve. And he was joyous till 95, until he passed away one evening and then the congregation got stuck with me. But I do my best to recall some of his jokes and some of his wonderful teachings, which I impart with you tonight. You know, we saw Fiddler on the Roof. It's one of those great movies, and I really like the line where he says, God, you know, you made us the chosen people. Couldn't you have chosen somebody else? We choose today, sometimes believe we're not chosen, but we choose. We choose to live a good life. But, you know, sometimes we ask ourselves, is this really something that we wish for ourselves to be this people that's brought some calamities on ourselves? But my friends, it is true that we've suffered, but we've also experienced some of the greatest triumphs that any people has ever achieved. The Torah, the teachings of kindness, of love, a vision of the world of peace, which is shared with the entire world, that all humanity looks to. My friends, we've achieved that. We've achieved bringing a language back to life and a people back to our homeland after thousands of years of exile. The only time a language, an ancient language, was revived. Israel are doing incredible things. You know, we get discouraged about climate change and other things, but I suspect that Israel will figure out a way, hopefully, to help humanity out of this crisis. We've seen some incredible things from the Jewish people. We even gave the Christians their Son of God. We even have one of our boys elevated to the Godhead. Yes, we've seen great triumphs and defeats. What's the difference? What is the difference? Why do some people, and sometimes we achieve triumph and sometimes defeat? I can tell you very simply, if you try and you give it a little oomph, you will triumph. That's the difference. And if you look down at defeat, you will suffer defeat. It depends on your attitude. Are you looking up? Do you have hopes and dreams? Or do you have fears? The Torah tells us that we have the capacity to overcome. I want to share with you also the book of Deuteronomy. What does Deuteronomy mean? It sounds like a fancy word. Deutero means two. It's related to the word duo, and that U is how we get the W in two, T-W-O. You probably wonder, what's the W doing there? It's from Deutero and two. And because it's called Deuteronomy, that's because Moses, being a good teacher, recognizes that if you want to teach somebody something, you got to repeat. It's not always going to take the first time. So Deuteronomy means he's saying it for the second time. He's repeating what happened the first time. Now, he was about 120 years old. So when he tells things in Deuteronomy, it's different than what happened back in Exodus. But you can't really blame him. I mean, most people are 120, the memory's not going to be too good. That's one reason why we believe that this was a human-made document, one of thousands. The other one is it says that Moses gave this speech on the other side of the Jordan. Well, the Orthodox say he wrote this. Well, if he wrote it, but he said, I wrote it on the other side of the Jordan, he was never on the other side. This was the only side he knew. But in any event, this is the teaching that Moses wanted to do. And he says, the whole history of the last 40 years, and you might think that would take a long time, but I can summarize it for you very simply. Moses was trying to explain to the Jews why they had to wander for 40 years. And what could they do differently to get into the promised land? And the reason is, he went back and he told them a story. Do you remember when we sent out the 12 scouts? And 10 of them came back and they said, forget about it. We'll never make it in the promised land. It's impossible. They were looking down at defeat. In fact, they had a colorful story. They said, when we saw those giants, we looked at ourselves and we looked at them, and they must have seen us as grasshoppers. And so that's how we saw ourselves. And once they saw themselves in that way, it was already over. Joshua and Caleb, they said no. They said, Yaholu Chalan, we shall overcome. And they were correct. There's very, very little difference between people. You know, we're pretty much the same as other people. Why do some achieve such greatness and others not? Some have an attitude, Yaholu Chalan, we shall overcome. And others want to retreat back into Egypt. They want to go back into servitude because it's the same. They're used to it. They don't have to take any chances. My friends, do you know that we are very similar to the chimpanzee? 98% of our DNA is the same. The difference is the chimpanzee has no ability to play music. And we do. The chimpanzee has no ability to achieve all of this technology. And we do. I'm not disparaging the chimpanzee. They're doing pretty well. They're very smart, very sociable, very sexy, and they seem to have a good time. And they're not killing themselves too often and destroying the world. So I don't want to disparage the chimpanzee. But I will tell you that 2% that separates us from them, it makes all the difference in the world. A little change can make all the difference. Do you know that a watermelon and a jellyfish are both 98% water? They're very similar. But I don't know about you, I don't want to eat a jellyfish. I like eating watermelon. That 2%, it makes all the difference. And so, we are trying to figure out for ourselves, how can we change that 2% a little bit? Well, there are some who will tell you that you can't do it alone, that you're powerless, you're weak, you're only human. You need a savior. You need some interlocutor between you and God. Some religions teach that. Or some religions teach that, forget about it, you're born evil. Not Judaism, my friends. Judaism teaches exactly what Roberta said when we started this service. There's a spark of divinity, of holiness. We have an incredible mind. And with this mind and this feeling of sacredness and dipping back into our heritage, we can accomplish great things. Our ancestors did, and we can. And we know that because we've done it. It's not just pie in the sky. There was a TV show that had a vision of the great things that we could accomplish one day. It was called Star Trek. Star Trek, all the way back in the 60s, they had cell phones and they had personal computers. It was visionary in its understanding of technology. But my friends, its understanding of human nature was even more visionary. On the helm of the Starship Enterprise, they had an African, not African American, African and an Irish and a Chinese guy and a Russian, an American, and a Vulcan. They all got along wonderfully. The African Uhura, she passed away just this week, and we celebrate her life. She came to audition, and she had a book that she was reading called Uhuru, which means freedom. So they made her feminine and called her Uhura. Well, Uhura one day thought, you know, I don't get all the good lines. I think I'm going to leave this show. She met Martin Luther King. He said, I'm the biggest Trekkie you'll ever see. I love Star Trek because it had a vision of what the world could be like and what humanity could be like. And it had a black female on the helm. She was treated exactly like everybody else. He said, you can't quit. You've got to do this. Because she could inspire that 2% difference that could make the difference between someone in a ghetto, someone who's deprived, someone who doesn't have much, who thinks so little of themselves, they can look at her and say, I can do it. I can achieve. She can inspire them. And one day, a young black girl was watching Star Trek. And she saw Uhura. And she went running to her mom. She said, Mom, Whoopi, guess what? I saw a black woman on TV and she was a maid. We've got a maid now. She was amazed. And so when she became famous, she went to Gene Roddenberry. She said, I want to be on your show. I want to be on Star Trek. He said, why would you be on Star Trek? You're on the big screen. Why would you go to the little screen? She said, oh no, you've got some big ideas. I want to be part of your Star Trek future. I want to be part of a show that talks about what human beings can achieve. That's what we're trying to do here, my friends. We're trying to boldly go where humanity has never gone before, to seek out new life for ourselves and explore what our civilization is capable of. And if we do that, and if we live up to the ideals of our prophets and the dreams of our parents, I assure you, we will be able to bring about a world of peace. We'll be able to transform our lives, and we will all be able to live long and prosper. Shabbat shalom. Now we're going to have a song called Hashkiven. Now this will be tricky for me, because I've never sung this what we call a cappella. I've always sung this with Cantor Garrett leading the way. You might not know this, but I can only sing in a baritone. So if I start on the wrong note, it's curtains. If I start going too high or too low, but let's see what happens. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. He spreads over us a tabernacle of peace. It's called the atmosphere, the ozone. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. It's a peaceful atmosphere. It doesn't let those horrible cosmic rays come through. And then the song continues in the English. You shelter us beneath ozone, O Adonai, through miracles that now are known. You protect earth and sky to keep us safe throughout the night. Earth's heavenly atmosphere blocks cosmic rays that let in light, so life can thrive down here. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Amen. This earthly plane and all the universe is your domain. Life you maintain, as science does explain. The miracle of nature's laws create life and sustain. Amen. Amen. And now, my friends, we're going to have the Aleinu. If you'd like, you can stand for the Aleinu Shabbat L'Adon Hakol,
לתת לנו יושר בראשית, שלא עשנו גויי ארצות, ולא שמענו ככל המונם, ואנחנו בורחים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ויאמרו יהיה אדוני אחד,
Remain standing for the Kaddish. Read the names of those and taken from us recently. Joan Brundage, Mel Cohen, Bernard Bettner, Marvin Friedman, Francis Hyman, Linda Cruz, and anyone else? Any other names you want to add? We also have the names of those departure whose occurs these days. Shirley Bain, Olevec, Benjamin Bronowitz, Lillian Brown, Jonathan Cohen, Gertrude Bader, Samuel Diamond, Rose Greenberg, Sylvia Greenberg, Carolyn Brodsky, Arthur Herman, Edgar Kearley, Hyman Levin, Bernie Levine, Alan Lepeder, David Mallon, Jerry Millman, Arthur Long, Eugene Mulrad, Robert Neiman, Leo Sofsky, Jacob Planskier, Saul Pomerantz, Samuel Robbins, Maurice Rosenberg, Arnold Rosenstein, Bert Rosenzweig, Buddy Rossman, Rose Savage, Joyce Solomon.
יעמד יברך וסב, ימליך וסב. וחייכון ויומכון וחייך ובייס ישראל. אגלה בזמן חגים ידעו אמן. יהי שני רבה מבורך לעולם ומי ומיה. יסבורך, יסתבח, יסבור, יסקומם, יסנעשה. יסדר, יסעלב, יסעלל, שני קדושה ולכו. לאלום אמו וחוסר בשירתו. תשבחסו ונכנסה. גם יעמד ויעמד ידעו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה משמע יבחים עלינו ועל ישראל במרומיו. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל ישראל במרומיו. Please be seated. I want to let you know that on August 7th we have a song fest. August 9th we got Torah study with yours truly. August 12th we have Shabbat back here at the beautiful Mariposa. High holiday tickets are available. Protect the planet and bring the religions together. We'd love to have you join us in that exciting enterprise. And we also have links to our website, L'Dor Va-Dor.org. We got Facebook, we got a YouTube channel. We are really very, very modern, and you can find a lot of cool stuff on there if you'd like to go. We are going to have, is the song up? Or no? You know, I deviate from Sharon's script sometimes. I do have to tell you, I had a very busy week. Like really, really busy. And I didn't have time to go over the service to any extent. I, of course, always think about what I'm going to say for my message. If it wasn't for Sharon, this never would happen. She gave me my marching orders right here. She outlined everything, like everything that I could possibly think of, and a bunch of things I didn't. So I do thank her for that. I don't always stick to the script, which is kind of frustrating for her sometimes, but I do my best. Anyway, here's this Simon Tov Mazel. Is that what we got? Right now. Because I was going to have Jimmy C do the song. I don't know if we need that.
Does anybody here want to stand and have, if they have their birthdays or
Birthdays today?
anniversaries? let's,
Oh, we got the celebrations.
Yeah, we're gonna have a
Yes.
Oh, look
celebration.
at that. Okay, if you are celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, you can get a special blessing. So feel free to stand up if you'd like, but I will say a special blessing for you.
We got a couple.
Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May you be blessed, protected, and guarded with good health this year. Ya'el Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May the light of love and the light of reason shine upon you and shine from you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be lifted up by the power of our heritage and our people and our inspiring ideals in order to bring about the best version of yourself that this world has ever seen. Amen. May it be a great word for you. Thank you for sharing your celebration with us. And now it says I should give my final benediction.
Simon Tov and Mazel.
You actually, Simon Tov and Mazel Tov, then the final benediction. So here we go. Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov. Here is my benediction for you. I mentioned that little difference, that little 2%, that little difference can mean everything between being defeated and trying with a little umph. So I'm going to share with you some inspiring words from George Bernard Shaw. They asked him, if you could be any person in the world, you could have been anybody in the world, who would you have been? And he said, I would have been the George Bernard Shaw that I could have been if I lived up to my full potential. Each of us can't be someone else, but I assure you of this, there's never been anyone like you before, and there's never been anyone who can be the best version of you, except for you. And there's no way that we know what we're capable of until we fulfill our potential. And that won't happen by wandering in Egypt, or wandering in the desert, and trying to go back into Egypt. It'll only happen when we set our sights on the promised land. Most people want to do what they're used to. Most people go back to their comfort zone. That's what the Jews did. They wanted to go back to Egypt. Some brave, intrepid soul said, let's go and explore. Let's have a mission to seek out new life for ourselves and make our civilization better. Let us see if we can be that type of person, to explore what's possible for us to achieve, rather than being the same way every day and every day. Now it is my great pleasure to call up Jimmy C. for another inspiring song. Jimmy, come on.
First of all, like always, it's a pleasure to be with you. I'm just going to find this very quickly. Excuse me for a second. Sorry, what's this? Talk amongst yourselves. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from my window to the place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Their troubles never longer than it runs away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why can I? The world is not just black and white. The world is made up of many colors. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why can I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, if happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow. The world is made of many, many colors. Thank you so much.
A great song, a little magic too. It's got all the colors of the rainbow right out there. I don't know if you know this, but that song was written by two Jewish guys, sons of refugees who were thinking about Europe and America somewhere over the rainbow with the golden road. I'm going to give you a sermon one time about the Wizard of Oz being Jewish, but I'll just share this with you right now. Does anyone know what Oz means in Hebrew? Oz? The Wizard of Oz? Oz means strength or power. And wizard gave people power, made people realize how intelligent they were, how compassionate they were, how courageous they were. That's really what we're here for. There is a power in this universe and in us. And if we channel it, we can have great intelligence and compassion and courage. That's the whole message of the Wizard of Oz. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. The motzi. We're going to do a motzi. If you'd like, join with me. You have to say the motzi if you want some follow. It's the rule we have. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. There are actually two announcements I forgot about. The litigation that you might have heard about, we're making some dramatic moves next week, including I will be filing as a plaintiff against our governor of the state of Florida, and I have a legal team with me who's going to be representing me, and we're going to try to get a hearing right away. And so that is coming up. And also, we will be here next week, and we will be here the week after that as well. And it was our hope that we will be here for a long time, but that's probably up to the will, not of the Almighty, but the will of the powers of the administrators, the high powers that govern Mariposa. Thank you very much. I have to make a quick getaway. I have to get out to the mosque. I'm meeting with a couple, they're having a Muslim gathering. I'm supposed to be speaking there. What does Sharon want to do? She wants to do Adon Olam.
Real quick.
We'll do a verse or two, okay?
Okay.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Olam, the Cherem